Hello, beautiful artisans on YouTube. I've been working all day on another video. I am so happy to be able to be doing more videos, sharing more of my art. And today we are done with this village. But before we get to it, I'll tell you what we'll be doing. I'm going to show you the whole village. Then we're going to go over the backings, and we're going to choose a backing. And then I am going to show you how I'm going to put the backing on, and we'll start stitching. We should be able to go around the whole thing. If it's getting too long, and you can see exactly how it's stitched, we'll leave it like that. However, there's some things I want to share with you. If you want to put a dowel through the back of this, I want to show you how to do that, and it's super easy. But so you remember the last video? I took the fine tipped markers and I was drawing little designs of the mountains, this and that, some flowers. So, talking to you, it creates a little bit of an illusion. It's not like a high-tech dimensional type deal, but it gives an effect that's a little bit different vibe from the rest of it, and then just kind of comes together and creates a whole new vibe. And that is exactly what happened. And the flowers, I added acrylic to them. So let's get to this. I got to stand up to show you this because it's just adorable. So hopefully you can see the colors. And I painted it, the whole thing. And do you remember? Now, see, this is the interesting thing about art. And I want to share a couple things with you here. Here, the interesting thing about art is you think you're going to do one thing and you end up doing another. Now, here in this Boro house, the centerpiece, if you look near the stairs, see that's chock full of flowers. And it reminds me of my grandmother's house where she had all these flowers by the porch, by the stairs. This probably sounds familiar. Now, over here, we had drawn just the sunflowers. I went ahead and painted those in with a nice bright orange. Look how beautiful those are. And then over here, I added some paint. And I added paint to these flowers and to the bird. Let's see if you can see. Can you see the bird there? And these flowers, I changed the whole vibe of the silk screen by adding color to them. So up here, when I did my pen and ink or my fine tipped pens, I just went ahead and added the acrylic on top of it. So adding the acrylic, I'll put this down so you can look at it while I'm talking. Adding the acrylic on top of the mountains here, I did so lightly. I consciously wanted the pen and ink to show through. So I didn't do heavy strokes. And I did dabbing. I don't know if you can tell, but that's dabbing. I took a larger brush and I was dabbing. And with the flowers, I took a smaller brush. And this I left completely. If you didn't notice, I left that on purpose. I just left it because it's the same concept of the roof being different from the other roofs. It just stands out a little bit there. So I feel like I'm done with this particular piece. And so I'm going to turn it this way for a moment and put this back up. And we'll go over the fabrics that I tentatively, well, I guess we'll make a decision right here because I've been back and forth. But I wanted to show you how full it became. And I think the biggest surprise to me is that I ended up painting the whole thing. Now, I have other pieces that I've done like this with a house and a cat or a house and a bird, and I love the houses. But and I always end up painting the whole thing, and that's not necessarily how I envision it. But as I'm working on it, it's the piece is making the decision. So, for some reason, for a lack of a better way to explain it, it didn't feel right. Like I kept talking to you about the spaces, and I thought that'd be fun. And then when I started the dabbing, it just popped. That was it. That was it for this piece. So, anyway, there's a few, um, and I'm gonna have to be really careful how I put these to the I fold these because I don't have that, like, there's just enough. Now, the first piece I was thinking, I'm going to put this back down because we're going to look at each of them. Um, this piece, I'm going to be honest with you, I have so much of this, it's crazy. You can probably make 2 queen size bedspreads from what I have, and it's thrift shop fabric. Now, it's very pretty, but it's a synthetic for sure, blended and silky. It's not real silk of any kind. Now, let's just see how this looks behind it for a minute. Now, this was my other thought that has changed. I was going, this is just folded for a minute. I was going to fold the piece over. Well, let's just see what that looks like. I was going to fold it over. And you know what? I still might. Now, what made me change my mind is this. This is a finished hem. Oh, these are just, we got to make sure our strings are, before we put our backing on, we'll go through and make, actually, I have checked these. Those are actually okay, but we'll double check them just to make sure. There could be pieces that we need to tie. So this is a complete hem all the way around, okay? So what made me think is, okay, then I'm going to do back to back. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go like this all the way around. So the back is sewn on, but the hem is folded to the back. Now, putting this piece folded over like that, I love it. Okay, I love it. I love it. So we're going to put this to the side for the moment. What I don't like about this is how it's going to sew. I don't like it. I don't like the thought of it even. So let's see here. I guess before we proceed, I want to share with you the back part of it. Okay, so there's a knot there. I think over here, I kind of skipped some with the knots. So you just tie very, very loose. You don't want it to be tight because you don't want it to be pulling on the fabric. And God forbid if the fabric gets wet, you don't want the cotton to tighten up and have that pull through. So yeah, there's knots all through here. If you do lots of stitching, the other thing that happens is it just kind of ties itself down, and which is beautiful. I love that. So, okay, the back looks totally fine. And so let's test our other pieces. So this is another piece, and I think I have just about enough here. And I'd have to trim it, but let's just put it underneath here for a moment. And see how the colors just look against the piece. Well, let's just fold it. It won't be folded over that much if we use it, but it will be maybe up like that. I kind of like that. I mean, it's not bad. Let's see if you can see that. Let me pin it. pin it there. I mean, that is, I'm gonna hold them. It might be easier to hold them up. So that is, I mean, that's not bad. This is a piece, again, it's a piece I'm not using. It's a synthetic. It's definitely a synthetic. It has a coating on it. So, but it's scrap. Now, many of the, yeah, when you're converting to green, right, and you go into a store, they say definitely buy things that are organic and, earth friendly. And I totally agree with that, especially if you are buying new. Now I found out the other day, I think it's called Cottages. It's a brand, and they use all the recycling clothing to create new clothing. So they're very popular in the area of recycling. Now, when I go into a thrift shop, however, it's a little different because I know this is synthetic, but I also know if this ends up in the ocean, the micro plastics are going to end up there too. And if I can use this and extend its life a little, because plastic takes like 500 years to break down, that's a long time. So in that way, excuse me, I do look, I'm not, I may be more forgiving for a blended fabric. If I'm in a store, like, REI, where they have a lot of recycle, that I'm totally going to be mindful of what I'm buying. If I'm buying, usually for someone else, it's usually a gift. This has a slight coating on it, but it is a cotton. So, and it's green. So and this is all primarily green. So let's see what's going on with this vibe. See if it gives us any inspiration. So far, I'm going to be honest with you. Unfortunately, I'm loving the blue flowers. I'm just loving them. So let's see. I mean, green to green. I mean, that's not bad. Because there's so many colors in here, really. Um, let's look at the blue one more time, and then we'll go. If For me, I don't know about you, but this is a no. This is a no. I'm going to toss this into my recycle bin that's on yonder. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, there was a YouTuber out there. She goes, I just love it when you make fun of yourself. I do it a lot. That's more than I like to think about. So let's take a look here. Okay, so we're going to fold this one more time. I don't know. Now that seems to kind of be blendy. So I'm going to say no to that. No blue roses. Okay. So it brings us to this one. Now, I don't have any other pieces right now that are big enough to be a backing for this that I liked. I do have a striped piece and a canvas piece, and that's all I've got. And I do have a velour piece, but it's not appropriate. That would not go with this at all. And all of them from the thrift shop. If I don't use those pretty soon, they're going. So, okay, we're going to go with this piece. And I'm going to put this over here for a moment. And we're going to, so what you do, or what I do, this is how I do it. I do it very simple. You could guess that. So I'm going to lay this down. And whoops, I don't know if that's the wider side. This is the thing. We may not have enough to fold over. Now, I fold over 2 folds. That's typically how I do it. So, okay, that does fit there lengthwise. Lengthwise, we're very good. Yeah, I guess we are good with this one. There was one, I guess it must have been the green. So I'm going to bring it as close to the edge as I feel I can to not waste fabric. So yeah, see the end of it. Now this is the tricky thing. When you get fabrics, they're going to be cut obscurely because they were making something and they were done with it. And instead of throwing it in the garbage, God bless their souls, they brought it to the thrift shop. So, okay, so this one is, we've got enough space up there. And I wanted to, give yourself about 1.5 inches or so around for margins. So about and if you're not, let's say you measure it and you're like, well, that doesn't fold right. Give yourself enough space so it folds the way you want it to fold. Because this is going to be 2 folds here, and I'm loving this right now. Okay, so I'm going to put this down. I want to show you. Okay, so this is it's about 1.5 inches. So we're going to cut in a moment, but this is, I fold it one nice hefty fold and then another one over. That's going to be just beautiful. Now, mind you, this is folding right onto the finished edge. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm going to stitch instead of trying to go through, which would technically be 1, 2, 3, 4, because that's going to be folded. It would be 4 layers of fabric. I'm going to fold that over, and then I'm going to sew through the right underneath the hem, and that way I can move right along. And I know this from experience. So I'm looking for my scissors right now. And okay, so we're going to have to move this over a little tiny bit to make sure we have enough of our edge over here. And the beautiful thing about this is, now you notice I didn't measure. No measures, no pattern, no nothing here at Carmella's. No, you can measure. I'm just, I've done this many times, and I know that if I have extra over here, that's okay. I can always fold it in or I can trim it. So I just want to bring you along with this process to familiarize you. And so I'm going to stand up for this to cut this so I can get this. And look, I'm using my table. I'm using the edge of my table for my little, to keep me nice and straight. Boy, if that's not cheating, I don't know what is. It just, the table edge just happened to be there. And so, yeah. And then I'm over on the other side here, and I'm cutting this. Okay. Now this part of the project is fairly quick. I mean, it really is. So I'm going to put this in the bin. And what we're going to do together is we're going to fold and pin. Okay? Because now the corners, you can do, there's a couple different ways to do the corners. And but I'm going to show you what I think is a nice, easy, friendly folding way. And so I'm not going to start at the top because this is near me at the bottom. I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'm going to fold my bottom piece, my bottom margin. I'm going to center this a little bit more. And there we go. And I'm going to fold and pin. And I'm going to start over here. I'm going to fold it right to the edge and then pin, and that's all I'm going to do. Get my pins over here. Now, I'm mindful when I do this that my fabric, in this particular case anyway, is coming over this hem enough to the where the hem ends, the sewn in hem, this one that is automatically, part of that piece. Okay, I'm going to make sure my fabric is just coming over so that when I sew, I'll show you when we start sewing. But because if I fold the fabric right onto, and I'll show you on that side too, if I fold it right onto the hem itself, as I was saying, that will give you 4 layers. So that will be too many. This is adorable. This is going to be really cutesy. This is going to be cute. And we'll take another look at it after we have this folded. So this will just take a few minutes. And I'm really curious if you've been working on a piece. Let's see. Okay, now I'm going to leave this on this side for you so you can see. I'm trying to get these. I've got needles threaded, ready to go here. So we'll start over here. So now I know a sewist who's an expert would probably be able to fold the whole thing, but this is how I do it. I fold it because it's easy enough, and then I fold it again. And then as I go down, I first get this in place, and then I get the rest of it in place as I go. So I am folding it, and I'm going to bring it just past the hem. So that's part of the piece, because this is my hem that I'm making to adorn our piece. Oh, and what I wanted to say here, by the way, before I do that, because I'm not making this for a dowel. But if you want to put a dowel in this, what you would do is you would first do this side, fold it, and then when you bring this over, you can bring it over. You're not going to sew the whole thing on. You're going to sew just at the end, so you have a space. You have a space there to put the dowel in. So we can take a video and kind of review that in detail. But basically, you would start on your sides first. So in this project, we are doing our bottom and then our top. Now, the reason we're doing the bottom and the top, and not like the bottom and the side and this neck, because if you don't stay consistent, let's say, with the let's say you fold the bottom and then you fold the side, your corner folds will not be consistent. But you know what? I've done it that way too. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I didn't see any problem with it. I was like, okay, that's just an artist in process. It's just an artist working. That's just what I did. But I do like being mindful if I can. Now we've got, I'm going to hold this up for a moment so you can see. So, okay, now we have the top, and I do like that, and the bottom. Okay, so it's top and the bottom. Now we're going to do the sides. Now, when you do the sides, you have a choice on how you want to fold your sides. So we'll put this back down, and I am going to do it the boxy way, and that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to fold it like that, and then I'm going to, and I should, this, if you have an overlapping piece like that, and I don't know if this is technically correct, but I just give it a little snip, and it really takes care of it takes care of the problem. So I'm going to fold it over the boxy way. Now, with these corners, you can do things like fold this down and then fold it. You know, you can do like that. Whoops. And what that does is it gives it, you know, a metered look. So, but I'm not doing the traditional. This is actually folding 3 times. Nope, I want to keep it 2 because I want to get it past the hem that's already intact. And I'm loving this, actually. This is going to be nice. And we're almost done pinning it already. So then I'm going to get you started with the sewing, and depending how fast we go, I don't want the video to get too monotonous for you. Okay, now we're at the end here, and so we're going to fold it once, and we're going to fold it twice. Now on this end, I didn't have any problem with excess fabric. So this is just beautiful. I just love this. I love this. I really do like this. I probably would have loved any. Okay, so there's your hem on that side. And we kept it simple. You kept it box. You can keep it box. You can fold that. You can even find a new way to fold that. And if you do, I want to know about it. I'd love to know about it. So, okay, now we're going to do this side. And keeping in mind, we're going past our little hem there. And we're going to fold. Now, the other thing about these pieces is sometimes you don't, especially like if it's a table linen, table mat, something like that. It may not be perfectly straight, and this one isn't. That's okay, and neither is the cut. But you know what? The table linen, being a little, what do I want to say? Imperfect, not perfect. It just adds, in my opinion, it adds to it. It's your signature almost. It's like, okay, you scouted out this piece, and this is your signature on this piece. This here. Okay. Now we're almost done folding already. And this is where it's a little off up here. That's okay. This is the beauty of handmade. Excuse me, of handmade. So now these pins are making this fabric is not cotton. It's a blend. It's a synthetic. It might have some cotton in it. You know, if you get 80% cotton in a piece, that's not bad. I mean, that's a piece, in my opinion, that's workable. So this one I have to fold. This one over here, we're going to fold this back up. This is the bottom piece. And pin it. We have to, if you don't put enough pins, it will definitely come apart. And that's kind of what was happening there. There. So we're going to get another pin and make sure. Now, as we come to what we're sewing, we can straighten it out. Look at that. Now, this is the back. This is the back. Isn't that just pretty? I mean, it's just the print. And yes, you can iron it. And I will iron. So now we're going to take our needle and thread and we're going to start sewing. I'm going to put this down and I'm going to, this side, I was just kind of messing with this a little bit and I'm going to unfold this again because this piece is a little bit larger on this end, but that's okay. The nice thing about your fabric and your piece is you can amend it how you see fit. Okay, so that to me is better. That's better. I like that. I don't know if you can see. Okay, so I am going to start my sewing on the inside of the, and you see already these pieces are folded like that. They're a little thick. It's a little thick to get through that. So I'm going to pick a layer. And now I may come around this again or I may not. But I want to get this secure here. And I don't want my knot to be showing. So I'm going to sew down here. That's where my needle is going to come out in about 2 seconds. And that's how I usually start my corners. I want to get my corner and I may come over and reinforce my corner and tuck this down. If I get my little crochet hook, I can push that down a little bit better. And but this is visible stitching. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start stitching. I'm trying to get on an angle and get some room here. There we go. Now you can see better. And I'm just below that hem. So that works okay. That's going to work. That's going to work okay. But even being just below the hem, I can feel a little bit of, the thickness there. I can feel it. But that's okay. And as I go along, I'm just kind of straightening out the tapering there, the little wrinkling there, and making sure my my needle is positioned just under the hem. I'm loving this. I'm really liking that. I'm liking that already. I'm going to take that pin out. That pin is got me 2 times already. I didn't scream and you didn't see it, so, but it did. It got me 2 times. So then we're just going to do our sashiko stitching straight across. And when you're sashiko stitching, when you're doing your sashiko stitching, you are ideally you're doing a few stitches at a time. Here I'm only doing a couple. You are pushing your needle through, and that just makes your life a lot easier. Okay, look at this. This is nice. Now, I did about 4 stitches there because I'm clearly underneath the hem. Over here, I think I was still a little bit on that hem. So we're going to take that out. Now we're starting to move along. So it's just getting oriented, getting everything in place, and making that plan a little bit before you go straight ahead. Now, there is something called top stitching. I don't know what it's called in the quilt world, and I don't even know if that's what it's called. But what it is doing your sashiko stitching in the top layer. So let's say there was something you forgot, or you noticed there's something we have to stitch, and this and that. And I noticed it here, and I'm saying it because this little roof, I have to add a few stitches there. And so I'm going to top stitch those. And top stitching is not difficult at all. What it means is you're just not going through all three. You're not going to go through the back here, because I made a decision with this piece. I don't want stitches to show in the back except the hem stitches. So I'll show you that next. We'll go down to the end of this row to the corner, and then I'll use my other needle and thread to show you how to do the top stitching in case you do exactly. Don't do exactly what I just did, by the way. Don't put your backing on before you finish stitching your piece. I was so excited about this piece, but that's the only thing that isn't done. Oh my goodness. You can't make this stuff up. So we're moving along here. I'm loving this. This is just adorable. I'm going to pull that pin out. I don't pull the pins out too soon, because if you do, everything's going to come unfolded. And you notice I'm tightening it a little bit as I go. Now, if after I do all of this, I feel like I need another row of stitches, I'll do it. But so far, I don't feel like I do. But sometimes I have done pieces where I definitely need. Okay, so here I am coming to the end. I'm running out of my thread, so I want to hide my thread. So first, I'm just going to pull this through here. Okay, and I'm going to tie a knot. And I'm going to tie a knot, just one, but I can pull that knot through, so it pulls through the fabric, and it's kind of hiding in that fabric, and I can clip that and just kind of tuck it under there, and then sew, so it will be sewn up in that hem and nice and secure and knotted. That's not going anywhere. So now let's show you, because this is a good opportunity. So I hope you have an idea of this, of the hemming. Now, if you don't, definitely let me know, and we can make sure we do one completely all the way around. But this might be helpful to you too. I mean, we could do that completely around, but I think it might be repetitive because we did the gist of it. So this house needs some stitches. So I'm going to bring the needle up through. Again, I'm bringing my knot. It's hiding it underneath. And I've done pieces with the knots out. Seriously. And all I'm going to do is I'm working through this top layer. Now, how do you know you're working through the top layer? Go to the back and just kind of pull it. And then just kind of pinch this like a little bit, just to give you some orientation. to the fact that you are working in your top layer. Usually you don't have too many stitches to do if you make a mistake like that, like me. But, so, and just continue like that. And if you have to, I'm sure there are actually other ways, but you get to the point where you can tell that you're working in the top layer, especially with the denim. If your base is denim. So this base is not denim. This base is cotton. So there. And then you do just the same thing. You're going to come underneath, and you want to let me cut this so you can see a little bit better. We're going to come underneath, and we're going to tie a knot here. And so then we hide that. And so what I have to do with the needle and thread is bring that down through, and you bring it through. So, whoops, it's kind of dark here. I'm having a hard time seeing this. Let me use, I can actually use a bigger needle for this particular one because we're just pulling this. We're just going to bring this down so you cannot see it, and to the point where now it's coming out like that. So you want to pull the fabric back a little, clip it so it sneaks back underneath that fabric. So that's gorgeous though. So what do you think about that? Okay, so in the next video, I'll have this complete because this will probably be another 10 minutes of just sewing it around, and I will show you it complete. And if you have any questions on this, or you want to share your village, this is the thing I wanted to tell you. I have navigated on Patreon and figured out how to give you a 7-day free access so you can see the video I just dropped over there, or I'm dropping over there. It will be dropped by the time you see this one. And it's the basics on Boro Inspired. And so check it out. But you can also chat with me. And so you might want to check it out. I would love to see if the chat works. I'm serious about that. So anyway, I hope that helped. And you have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. And we'll see you very shortly or very soon on our next project.